This video contains photos of wounds and discussion of medical procedures. Take care.
Hello. Hi there. I'm Angie, and today I'm going to talk to you about your veins, or my veins in general, because I just experienced going through some procedures for my varicose veins. And first of all, you might be thinking, oh, varicose veins, I've heard of those, but they're for old people. Wrong-o. First of all, I'm not old. I'm in my early 40s, but I have been experiencing varicose vein issues since I was around 16. Just the fact that they were visible since then. And today I'm going to explain to you what the veins are, what they look like, what the side effects are, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the procedures that I went through in order to treat those veins. Varicose vein basically occurs when your veins have valves that are not shutting properly. So your blood is supposed to be going toward your heart. Every time you move your legs and your ankles, blood is pumping up toward your heart, and it's going through your body like that. We all know that, right? Well, sometimes in your veins, the valves that keep the blood going up fail. So then the blood comes back down. And when that happens over time, veins can get extended, stretched out, and then they end up looking like squiggly. I have some pictures for you. So that's what happens. And when that happens, over time, the veins start to show symptoms. So you'll see through the skin, maybe like blue. Mine appeared a little green, but that's because I'm brown. Sometimes they're purplish, but you can definitely see the squiggliness of them. They look kind of distorted. And that for a lot of people is enough to get the vein treated because it's kind of unsightly.
Varicose veins and spider veins also indicate vein disease or vascular insufficiency, and this will not go away by itself, so it will have to be treated at some point.
Me having them since I was 16, I didn't really care about them. Like, my kids would kind of poke at them sometimes. That bothered me, but like otherwise, I just dealt with it because I know why I have them. Sorry, my camera is falling. Okay. I have varicose veins because my mother had varicose veins, and her mother had varicose veins, and so on and so forth. My great-grandmother was a farmer in Pennsylvania, and she had awful varicose veins that would oftentimes burst. She would have to take a rag and tie it around because the thing is that when your skin gets thinner as you get older, the veins that are coming closer to the surface, and it's easy to like bump into something and open the vein. Especially that happens sometimes with spider veins. She had both. But our family lore is that she would tie rags around her legs and keep it moving, because when you're running a farm in Pennsylvania in the 1900s, that's what you do. So I have varicose veins now, and I have been an athlete all of my life. I played softball, soccer, basketball. I've been running, and in my adult life, I like to stay pretty active too, which can exacerbate some varicose veins. Also, having babies can do this, and I have had 4 babies, and with each pregnancy, I could feel the veins getting kind of worse. So I decided to get them looked at because my doctor had a scan ordered, and when they did the ultrasound, they just found that my veins were insufficient, that there wasn't enough circulation going through my legs, and that could pose a problem later on, so we thought we should get it dealt with. And in hindsight, I remember like when I would start a workout, my legs would feel like they were building up lactic acid really fast. Like, my legs would feel tired for the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes of a workout, and then they would be fine. And my doctor explained to me that that is, a product of me having insufficient circulation in my legs. So I went through another scan when I went to a different vein center. It was an hour away, but it was in Bethesda. And if you know anything about Maryland and driving through Bethesda or to Bethesda, it's just not my favorite. Like, the traffic is awful, and I would have to leave an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes ahead of my appointment just to get there in enough time. And that wasn't, that wasn't ideal. So I looked for another vein office. I went to a different one, had another scan done, and then it turns out after I had the visit, oh, we don't take your insurance. So I ended up finding a place still an hour away, but the traffic was much better. It was in a better location, and I was able to get there in 50 minutes. So it still wasn't close. No vein centers near me were taking my insurance. So I just decided to go with this one. And I'm glad I did. The doctors were very, very nice. The staff was very, very nice. Now, we'll get into the procedure in a minute, but I do have to say that because my veins weren't hurting me or bothering me, I did struggle with whether or not to get the procedure because I don't love anything doctors. I've had some really, especially as a brown woman in our current climate, I've had some really negative interactions with doctors. I have suffered from an eating disorder that was exacerbated by doctors. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was completely dismissed and kind of poked fun at on the day that I was having my child because my water broke and they didn't want to believe me and they told me I was lying and I had just peed myself. That's a whole nother story. We'll do a whole nother video on that. But it was, I was scared to get the procedures done. I was terrified. And I wish that I agreed that they were painless because initially I was told they were painless, but I didn't experience a lack of pain. I'll just put it that way. So let's get into the actual procedures. I had 3 procedures done on my veins, 1 on the left, 2 on the right leg. The first one I did was on my left leg, and they had a doctor who was visiting, and he helped me out with that one. Now, my vein must have moved, collapsed, or did something weird, so he had a hard time placing the catheter. And so let me explain to you the process of what I had done. It's called radio frequency ablation. And so they put a catheter into your vein, and then they put some numbing agents in there, and then they pulse it with radioactive frequencies that like cauterize the vein, shut off the vein that has insufficient blood flow, and then that vein, if slowly dies off and is reabsorbed by the body, and then your body diverts the blood to your other veins. It's pretty amazing. But the process of them getting the catheter in was super uncomfortable. It was a lot of pressure, and obviously they're putting needles in to like numb the superficial layers before they put a catheter in and put like the higher numbing agent, the more strong numbing agent in. And so that was all painful, and it was all down my leg. You know, they'd say, oh, a bee sting here, a bee sting there. And then once all of that's done, you're numb, they start the radio frequency, and they're like, oh, this might be some pressure. It is not the word they should have used. This will definitely be pressure. It felt wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes something's happening in your body and it just feels wrong. And this is what this felt like. It was felt like my vein was expanding and being pushed upon and tugged upon, and it just felt wrong. But it was only a couple of minutes. One went a lot more smoothly. This doctor was able to like get everything going in the vein without trouble, and I'll show you some pictures of afterwards, and you'll be able to see where the doctor had trouble with my left leg. But it was the same thing. It was less of a surprise. It was still uncomfortable. No problem. And that time they wrapped my entire leg with an ace bandage for me to keep it on for 24 hours. So post-procedure, all procedures, you wear the ace wrap out for 24 hours. No, you can't get it wet. So for 24 hours, you can't take a shower. And then after that, you remove the bandage. You have to wear your compression stockings. Now, thankfully, It is wintertime here in America, the East Coast in Maryland, and wearing the stockings wasn't that big of a deal. It was keeping them clean and like washing them every day. That was kind of annoying, but now let's talk about the third procedure, which was on the back of my right leg. Kind of procedure. It didn't take as long, but it was way more uncomfortable than the other ones. I mean, I was in there utilizing my doula breathing, deep cleansing breath, pushing it out. I was trying everything. It was very uncomfortable. Like I said, it only lasted about 5 minutes, saving grace. And then after that procedure, I had some pretty serious swelling in my ankle. I had some pretty serious just discomfort when walking because your calf muscle obviously is moving, and everything where they just irritated is getting rubbed up against. There's inflammation, and it was just super uncomfortable. I did end up taking a little bit of Advil and Tylenol, which I don't love taking because I have heartburn issues and I've had kidney issues before from taking too much ibuprofen, so I tried to avoid it, but that one I really did have to take some for. Now, as far as the recovery was concerned, I had the hardest time with not exercising. You can walk, which I have a tread climber over here, but I'm used to, like, I had been doing powerlifting and just really in the gym getting my strength up, and I had to kind of take a step back from that, which was good, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the recovery process is really just wearing your stockings, not in bed, but all day, and then just walking and not doing any heavy exercise or intense jumping or running or anything like that, which was difficult for me because I had been in the gym lifting 5 days a week and had really gotten into powerlifting. However, I was able to realize that I think the powerlifting actually did my veins more harm than good. I noticed that they got worse, and I'll do another video on powerlifting and why I kind of pulled back from it. There were just some health issues that were arising from my body not responding well to it. So I had to take a break, and I just basically did cardio every day, which rough, okay, friends. I don't love cardio unless it's dancing. I can dance, I can hike, but like 20 minutes on the tread climber was torture. So I actually learned how to play my ukulele while I was on the tread. A week after my last procedure, they did a scan. They said everything looks good, and then I have to go back at the middle of March to do another assessment and see if they think that I need more procedures. Will I agree to more procedures? I'm not really sure. I'm kind of waiting to see what the real benefits of having these first 3 was, because right now, still super tender. I'm still super sore in certain parts of my legs. Touching them really hurts the back of my right calf. Like, I'm touching it right now. It feels like there's a bruise there, even though I know there's not. My left leg, my lower calf, that is still super tender. I really am not sure that I would like to subject myself to that again. We'll see. It might become more of a problem as I get older. I don't plan on slowing down my activity. It helps me manage my mental health, and I need it. So if it's going to be a problem with me exercising and having these vein issues, then I'll get the vein issues taken care of. But if I can wait 5 years, I'll probably do that. I hope that you've enjoyed learning about varicose veins with me and walking through my procedures and my journey. I hope that you would reach out if you have any questions. You can totally just put them in the comments, and I will be happy to respond. If you have varicose veins and you are considering treatment, I hope that this has helped you. I looked when I was considering treatment at videos, and there were a few, which I'll post below. And I'll also post a video that was helpful for understanding how varicose veins work down below. It has a very interesting infographic, and you can just basically see exactly how this happens. And also, I'll post one for the treatment so you can see. I went to the Center for Vein Restoration, and I highly recommend them. They were amazing and very caring and down to earth. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, if you wouldn't mind giving it the thumbs up, and also if you would consider maybe subscribing to this channel. I'll have different content than this, but mostly educational and probably a lot of music. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
I